Wondering what to plant in March? You've landed in the right place. March, a month filled with the promise of spring, is the perfect time to sow a vibrant variety of flowers and vegetable crops. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or a green-thumbed beginner, knowing what to plant and when is the cornerstone of a thriving garden. In March, you can start to sow a multitude of crops, either directly outside or indoors for later planting. From the heat-loving chilies and tomatoes that require early sowing for a long growing season, to the earthy beetroot and crisp salads that can be started early for a continuous harvest. March is a month full of gardening possibilities, and it's not just about vegetables. Oh no! Hardy annuals can brave the outdoors from the get-go, while half-hardy annuals and perennials might need a little bit more care, starting their journey under glass. But don't worry, we'll guide you through the specifics of each crop, including spacing, planting depth, and ideal growing conditions, ensuring your March planting is a resounding success. So stay tuned to learn more about the specific crops you can plant this month and how to do it. In March, some crops can be sown directly outside, while others need a head start indoors. So, what exactly does this mean? Well, it's all about the hardiness of the plants. Hardy annuals, for instance, are a group of plants that can be sown directly outside. They are tough, resilient, and can withstand the unpredictable weather of early spring. These plants embrace the challenges of the outdoor environment, making them perfect candidates for direct outdoor sowing. On the other hand, we have half-hardy annuals and perennials. These plants, although beautiful and bountiful, require a little more care and attention. They prefer a more controlled environment, especially in their early stages of growth. These are the plants that benefit from an indoor start. Starting plants indoors has its advantages. It allows for a longer growing season, giving plants a head start before they face the great outdoors. For crops like chilies and tomatoes that require a longer growing season, this is particularly beneficial. Indoor sowing also provides a controlled environment, free from the whims of early spring weather. It ensures the young plants get the right amount of water, light, and warmth, setting them up for success when they eventually move outdoors. But it's not just about protection. Starting indoors can also mean a continuous harvest. Early sowing of crops like beetroot and salads can ensure a regular supply of fresh, homegrown produce throughout the season. In essence, the choice of starting indoors versus outdoors depends on the type of plants you're dealing with and your gardening goals. It's about understanding the needs of your plants and providing the best conditions for them to thrive. Now that we understand the basics, let's dive into the specific crops suitable for March. Chilies are an excellent crop to start indoors in March. Let's dive right into the step-by-step process of planting these fiery delights. And before you know it, you'll be sizzling your way towards a spicy summer harvest. Step 1. Choose your variety. Chilies come in a range of heat levels from the mild bell pepper to the fiery Carolina Reaper. Pick one that suits your taste buds or go wild and try several. Step 2. Sow your seeds. Fill a seed tray or pots with good quality compost. Sprinkle the chili seeds on top, aiming for about a 1/4 inch spacing between each seed. Now gently press them into the compost but don't bury them. Chilies need light to germinate. Step 3. Provide the ideal growing conditions. Cover your tray or pots with a clear plastic lid or bag to create a mini greenhouse. This keeps the atmosphere humid, which chilies love. Place them in a warm spot, ideally at a temperature of about 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. A sunny windowsill or heated propagator is perfect. Step 4. Keep an eye on them. After around 2 to 3 weeks, your chili seeds should start to sprout. Once they do, remove the cover to allow air circulation and prevent damping off, which is a common seedling disease. Step 5. Give them space. When your seedlings have developed 2 sets of true leaves, it's time to give them their own pots. Transplant them carefully into 3-inch pots filled with compost. This gives them room to grow and develop a strong root system. Step 6. Care for your plants. Keep the compost moist but not waterlogged. Feed your chili plants every 2 weeks with liquid tomato fertilizer, which is high in potassium, perfect for fruiting plants. And remember, chilies love sun, so make sure they get plenty of light. With proper care, your chilies will be ready for a spicy summer harvest. Another crop that benefits from early indoor sowing is the versatile tomato. These sun-loving fruits, yes, they are technically fruits, are a real joy to grow and can be a vibrant addition to your summer salads and sauces. Let's dive into the process. The first step is to sow your tomato seeds indoors. This can be done as early as late February to early March, depending on your local climate. You'll want to place your seeds about 1/4 inch deep in a tray filled with seed compost. Water them lightly and place them in a warm, sunny spot. Tomatoes love the sun. Once your seedlings are about 3 inches tall and have their first true leaves, those are the ones that look like actual tomato leaves, not the initial sprout. It's time to transplant them into individual pots. Continue to keep them in a warm, sunny spot and water them regularly. When the risk of frost has passed, usually around late April to early May, it's time to move your tomato plants outdoors. If you're planting them in the ground, dig a hole deep enough so that the lower leaves are just above the soil surface. If you're using containers, ensure they are at least 9 inches wide. Whether in the ground or in pots, your plants should be spaced about 2 feet apart to give them room to grow. Tomatoes are heavy feeders, so be sure to add some slow-release granular fertilizer to the planting hole or pot. Water them well after planting and continue to water regularly, especially during dry spells. And there you have it. With a bit of care and attention, you'll have juicy, ripe tomatoes ready to pick in the summer. Remember, tomatoes require 6 to 8 hours of sunlight each day, so position your plants accordingly. They also appreciate warmth, so avoid placing them in areas prone to frost or cold winds. Nurture your tomatoes well, and you'll have a fresh supply for your summer salads and sauces. For those ready to sow directly outdoors, beetroot is a fantastic option. These vibrant, earthy gems are a joy to grow and even more enjoyable to eat. So let's shed some light on how to get these beauties thriving in your garden. Firstly, choose a sunny spot. Beetroot is a sun lover, and a well-drained, fertile soil is its playground. If your soil is heavy or clay-like, consider adding some compost or well-rotted manure to lighten it up. A pH between 6 and 7 is perfect for these ruby reds. Now let's get down to business. Beetroot seeds are actually clusters of 2 to 4 seeds, so don't be surprised when multiple seedlings spring up from each one. You'll want to sow them directly into the ground about 2 centimeters deep. A little deeper won't hurt, but any shallower and you risk the birds enjoying your beetroot before you do. Spacing is key to avoiding overcrowding and ensuring each beetroot has enough room to grow. Aim for a spacing of about 10 centimeters between each seed cluster. If you're planting in rows, keep the rows around 30 centimeters apart. This will give your beetroot the room it needs and make it easier for you to weed and water. Speaking of watering, beetroot loves a good drink. Keep the soil consistently moist but not waterlogged. Regular watering will help your beetroot develop smoothly and prevent any woody growth. Once your beetroot seedlings are showing, thin them out to leave the strongest one from each cluster. This might seem harsh, but it's a crucial step to ensure a healthy, bountiful harvest. As your beetroot grows, keep an eye out for leafy tops peeking out of the soil. This is usually a good sign that your beetroot is ready to harvest. Gently pull them out or use a fork to lift them, taking care not to damage the roots. Beetroot is a resilient crop that will provide you with a continuous harvest throughout the season. So don't be shy. Get your hands dirty and sow those seeds. Your taste buds will thank you later. The ultimate fresh crop to sow in March is salad greens. These leafy delights are not just delicious and nutritious, they're also wonderfully easy to grow, making them a staple in many home gardens. Let's dive right into the planting process, shall we? First off, you'll need to decide what types of salad greens you want to grow. There are a myriad of options, from crunchy romaine and butterhead to spicy arugula and delicate mesclun mixes. Each type has its own unique flavor profile and growing needs, so you can pick and choose based on your personal preferences and the conditions of your garden. Once you've chosen your salad greens, it's time to get planting. Most salad greens prefer cool conditions and can tolerate a light frost, making them perfect for early spring planting. To start, prepare a patch of soil in a sunny or semi-shaded spot. The soil should be well draining and rich in organic matter. If your soil is heavy clay or sandy, consider amending it with compost or well-rotted manure to improve its fertility and structure. The seeds of salad greens are quite small, so you'll need to sow them thinly. A general rule of thumb is to plant them about 1/4 inch deep and 1 to 2 inches apart. If you're planting rows, keep them 8 to 10 inches apart to allow the plants ample room to grow. Once the seeds are in the ground, cover them lightly with soil and water well. Keep the soil consistently moist, but avoid waterlogging it. As the seedlings emerge, you may need to thin them out to achieve the recommended spacing. While salad greens are generally easy to care for, they do appreciate a bit of attention. Regular watering, a light feeding with a balanced organic fertilizer, and protection from pests and diseases will go a long way in ensuring a healthy, productive crop. And there you have it, a step-by-step guide to planting your very own salad garden. As the days lengthen and the soil warms up, you'll see your little green leaves sprouting and growing, ready for your salad bowl. With a little patience and care, you'll be enjoying fresh homegrown salads in no time. We've covered a lot of ground today, from chilies and tomatoes to beetroot and salads. Let's take a moment to summarize the key points we've discussed. We started our journey with an understanding of the importance of timing when it comes to sowing seeds. March, as we've discovered, is a fertile time for planting a variety of crops, either directly outside or indoors for later planting. In our exploration of chilies and tomatoes, we found that these crops require early sowing for a long growing season. We delved into the specifics of spacing, planting depth, and ideal growing conditions, learning that each crop has its unique requirements. Then we moved on to beetroot and salads, discovering that these can be started early for a continuous harvest. Again, we highlighted the importance of understanding the specific needs of each plant, from the right environment to the correct planting techniques. Now, let's look at some additional tips to help your garden thrive. Investing in additional equipment can be a game changer for your crops. Consider purchasing a greenhouse or a cold frame to protect your seedlings from harsh weather. If you're growing indoors, a grow light can help mimic the sun's rays, promoting robust growth. Remember, not all plants have the same needs. Some, like chilies and tomatoes, are best sown under glass due to their need for a warmer environment, while hardy annuals can be sown directly outside. One last thing, always make sure to refer back to detailed guides for each crop. These will provide you with a wealth of information tailored to the specific plant you're growing. With these tips, you're well on your way to a fruitful gardening season. Happy planting!